Welcome back to the deep dive. We're tackling a really fascinating topic today, a group with a name that just sounds full of mystery, Fraternitas Atlantica Saccra. When you first hear something like the Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood, what immediately comes to mind for you?
Well, the name itself is quite loaded, isn't it? Fraternitas? Okay, that clearly points to brotherhood, a tight-knit group. Sacra obviously means sacred, suggesting a higher purpose.
Right.
But it's the Atlantica part that really sparks curiosity. It hints at, ancient wisdom, maybe something lost or hidden. Their main document, Who We Are, actually positions them as much more than just an organization.
Oh, how so?
They call themselves a living, breathing force, aimed at lifting up human consciousness. The core idea seems to be about reconnecting us with our divine origins. That feels like the essence of this ancient wisdom they're referencing.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're doing a deep dive today, really trying to get a handle on the identity and mission of this Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood, using their own document, Who We Are, as our guide. And for you listening, this isn't just about learning about some group, it's just an exploration, really, into one specific way of thinking about self-realization, about human potential. It might offer some insights into, well, understanding existence itself.
Exactly. And the document really leans into this idea of them being a spiritual family, not just a formal structure. That implies a very different kind of connection, doesn't it?
A spiritual family. Yeah, that does sound different.
It suggests something maybe deeper, more inherent among members than you'd find in a standard hierarchy. It does make you wonder, though, how that affects things like individual autonomy or accountability, or even how power works within the group.
That's a great point, this spiritual family dynamic. And they say the absolute core, the foundation, is this belief that we are all part of the same divine source. How does framing it that way around a divine source shape what they actually do, compared to, say, a group focused on external gods or historical figures? What's the impact of that specific framing?
Well, it immediately establishes a sense of inherent unity and inherent worth. Maybe it bypasses all the usual external labels. If we all come from the same source, the journey isn't about reaching for something out there.
Ah.
It's more about rediscovering what's already inside us. And this connects directly to how they approach guidance. The Brotherhood is very clear. They're united not by dogma or ritual, but by the quest for truth and self-realization.
So less about rules, more about the search.
Precisely. They're offering what they call a pathway to awakening, not just a set of beliefs you have to sign up for. They really emphasize direct experience, not blind adherence. That points to a very personal, very internal kind of journey. They believe true spirituality is found within, by exploring our own consciousness and recognizing this deep connection to all that is.
So it sounds like they're not saying we have the answers. It's more like their role is guiding people to realize, hey, you already have the knowledge and wisdom you're looking for. Their purpose is not to lead, but to awaken the dormant potential within each member. That feels like a really important distinction.
It is.
But how does a group, especially one calling itself a spiritual family, help someone awaken that potential without sort of telling them what to do or think? How do they facilitate without prescribing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It highlights their role as facilitators, maybe catalysts, rather than gurus handing down truths. And it seems they don't leave it just to chance. The Brotherhood actually lays out a pretty structured approach for this inner journey. In fact, I call it the 9 spiritual degrees. It seems to be their framework, their map for this process of awakening from within.
9 spiritual degrees. That immediately brings to mind other traditions, other esoteric orders. How does their approach, this structured yet flexible path they mention, actually differ? What makes it flexible if it's also structured with degrees?
Well, the flexibility seems key. Yes, there's a definite progression outlined, but the constant emphasis on individual direct experience suggests it's not just about mastering external rituals for their own sake.
Okay. The rituals are tools, not the end goal.
Exactly. Tools for inner shifts. The document breaks these degrees down into 3 main stages. First, there's the initiate stage, that's degrees 1 to 3. Then comes navigator, covering degrees 4 through 6.
Navigator, okay.
And finally, there's captain, which includes the highest degrees, 7 through 9. Each stage seems to represent a deeper dive into self-discovery and expanding one's consciousness.
And these degrees have a specific purpose, right? The document says each one gives unique teachings, practices, and rituals aimed at helping someone overcome the illusion of separation and to merge with the cosmic unity that exists within and around us. Can we unpack that phrase, illusion of separation, a bit? What does that actually mean for someone walking this path?
It's basically the common feeling we all have, right? That we're separate individuals, isolated from each other, isolated from the universe. They're saying that feeling, that experience, is an illusion.
An illusion.
Yeah. Their path is designed to help dismantle that feeling. Think of it like ripples on a pond. Each ripple looks distinct, maybe, but it's all just water.
Okay, I get that image.
Their teachings, their rituals, they're designed to help you feel that interconnectedness, that underlying unity, not just grasp it intellectually. That's why they say their work aims not just to impart knowledge, but to catalyze transformation. It's about feeling the shift deep inside.
So it's really a holistic thing then, helping people dissolve the barriers between their mind, body, and soul, as they put it, which then allows this divine spark within them to shine through. It makes me think of like tuning an instrument. When everything's aligned, mind, body, soul, the true sound, that divine spark can finally come through clearly.
That's a really good analogy, actually. It's about integration, where what you understand intellectually, what you feel emotionally, and how you exist physically all come into alignment.
Right. Leading to what they call a complete transformation of consciousness, which sounds like the ultimate goal, awakening your highest potential.
Precisely. And a key figure mentioned in their teachings is Grandmaster Waxhira. This person apparently emphasizes that we are all born with divine potential.
Ah, Waxia.
Yes. And that reconnecting with this innate potential is what brings joy, peace, and abundance. This idea of something already being in us, this inherent potential, seems absolutely central to their whole philosophy.
And there's a specific quote from Grandmaster Waxira in the document that really seems to capture it all. It's quite striking. The awakening of the soul is not a destination. It is a process of remembrance. You were never lost. You simply forgot who you truly are. Our work is to help you remember.
That quote really hits home, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It completely reframes the whole spiritual quest. It's not about finding something new or becoming something different.
No, it's about remembering, rediscovering.
Exactly. And, that concept of remembrance might even connect back to the Atlantica part of their name. If you think of Atlantis metaphorically, perhaps, as this sort of lost golden age of wisdom,
Ah, interesting connection.
then maybe Atlantean wisdom for this group represents that deep knowledge we've collectively forgotten. Knowledge they believe humanity can remember, can bring back. And this idea also seems to fuel their openness. The Brotherhood states quite clearly it's not exclusive to a select few.
Right, they say it's open to everyone.
Yes, open to all who seek to understand the mysteries of existence and embrace the higher purpose of life. It suggests a very inclusive approach.
And the document basically invites anyone who feels a connection, who resonates with these ideas, to join in, whether that's through study, meditation, ritual, or simply through the shared intention of awakening. It sounds very much like if you feel drawn to it, that's your qualification.
It does suggest that resonance itself is the key.
Well, that was quite a journey into the philosophy of the Fraternitas Atlantica Saccra, the Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood. It really is a unique mix, isn't it? Ancient wisdom, the structured self-discovery path, and the focus on spiritual transformation. So thinking about all this, what does it really mean for you, listening in?
I think the biggest takeaway from this deep dive is that powerful, consistent emphasis on inner wisdom. The idea that true knowledge isn't something you get from outside, but something you uncover, something you remember from within.
That concept of remembrance.
Yet remembrance rather than learning something totally new. It's a really profound idea, actually, and you hear echoes of it in many different spiritual paths.
It definitely raises an important question for reflection, I think.
Which is?
Well, if the journey truly is about remembering, what does that practically mean for how you might approach growth or learning? Not just spiritually, but maybe in any part of your life. Does it change how you look for answers?
That's a great question. And maybe to leave you with one final thought, building on those words from Grandmaster Waxhira, if awakening really is a process of remembrance, and if you were never truly lost, just forgetful of who you are, what specific things, maybe practices or insights, could you explore to help your own process of remembrance, whatever that might look like for you personally?